Alright, yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the solar system series known as Up in the Air, where we talk about the air signs up in the air. Now, moving on a little bit, this is the next level in the Air House series where we're talking about the second layer of the more higher vibrational piece of air, which is known as Libra. Not to bash any of the other Libra signs, whether they're up or down, but this is how it works in the ascending house systems. Aside from that, though, let's talk about, Mercury in Libra a little bit. So, Mercury in Libra. Mercury in Libra. So, basically, the whole deal with this situation is Mercury is the planet of thinking, communication, which basically deals with, so if the light where you illuminate part of your house, which is your crown chakra, is like right between here, this area of your body. The second house area of your body is basically from your brow all the way down to about the bottom of your nose, which is the second house area of your body, which is your moon part of your body where you react and reflect to things. Then the third house part of your body, which is where Mercury typically lies from an external perspective, is basically nose all the way to the bottom of your armpits, where you basically, think, communicate, and basically form these ideas, concept, thoughts, and feelings into relatable situations. Relatable situations where you can actually relate these higher vibrational frequencies into a, more earthly adaptable tone. You feel what I'm saying in a way? So for instance, if you're trying to communicate or talk about something, use your vocal cords, use sign language. You talk with your hands to get people, and use signs and sigils to let people know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's a weaker ass version of the you-know-what, but I'm not that. So, basically, let me think about it. Yeah. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about Libra. Libra is the sign that's born from the 7th house, the house of, basically relating to others and joint ventures and doing things in a one-on-one situation, because it's basically the scale constellation of where it's, you basically balance the scales. You're always trying to bring balance to situations. You're always trying to relate things. You're always trying to make sure things are even-steven. You know what I'm saying? Now, so a little more about Libra. Libra is the sign of cardinal air, which means it's adaptable, and which means it likes to initiate and create new ways of how to think and communicate on subjects, because it's the air sign. Now, with that being the case, it is exalted in Saturn, because the most efficient way to create structure for yourself is to relate an idea to somebody and get them to do it, because then you can create a lot more structure systems with a lot less effort on your own. A little game on that one right there. And then it is at home in Venus, the planet of love, appreciation, values, as well as how one relates to others, which is basically, that combined sort of makes Libras like to work towards creating structure systems of how they can relay ideas they appreciate about others or with others, and just ideas in general, whatever concept they're feeling at that moment in time, along with trying to be in the situation of others relating to you as well. Now, another situation with Libra is it also is away in Mars, so it doesn't necessarily like to act on things, which is why they always try to be relatable to others and try to get in situations with others so that they can either have feel comfortable, since it's Mercury, so that they can think that they are doing something with people, so that they won't necessarily have to rely on themselves for all the action necessary and creating all the structure necessary for a situation they'd like to see come to fruition. This is where that sort of exaltation in Saturn does come into play, because if they have a structure system supporting them, they'll feel like it's the greatest situation in the world going on, And I shouldn't say feel necessarily, I should say think, because this is the layer that their influences sort of condition them to be, And I shouldn't say the layer, I should say more of the thought paradigm that their influences conditions them to be in, because influence is influid. And I know there's a sudden, setting change in this situation, but, to relate to you guys, what basically happened is, when you're filming in a pine tree right next to, right next to, a freaking tennis court, sometimes the sound of a squirrel jumping between trees can be misconstrued with old people playing freaking tennis by themselves. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a weird tangent, but it's what happened, and it's why I'm in here. Libra also falls in the sun. The sun is basically the expression, what you consciously see from the world. It's both sides of the coin when it comes to expression. Now, basically the deal with that is Libras don't necessarily like to be the center of attention. They don't like to I don't necessarily want to say they don't like to give attention, because they certainly like to do that. They just like to balance it out and spread the attention that people naturally give to them because they feel so comfortable with them, so with this situation, having a Mercury in Libra, you don't like to have your thoughts be the center of attention. You like to relate all these thoughts and spread the attention all the way around. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you have differing placements like a Mars in Leo or a Sun in Leo, obviously this is a different situation for you. But for most of the other signs with this placement, this is how it'll go. And I mean, technically, let's think about this. Okay, so if you were a Sun in Leo, you couldn't have Mercury in Leo. Okay, now I basically mentioned that because if you are a Mercury in Leo, you can be in only 3 possible variations from off of the Sun. You can only be a Virgo, Leo, or so it would be not Leo. It would be, if you're a Mercury in Libra, you can only be a Virgo, a Libra, or a Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so close to the Sun, it can only be in 3 possible other placements. Anyways, bouncing off all of that, sort of supplementing information so you can gain your own thought and understanding of what's going on with this sign. Mercury and Libra people are very focused on, like, let's take a debate situation, for example. If they're debating with people, they won't necessarily argue with an idea. They won't necessarily be like, oh, okay, I won't be like, man, fuck that idea. This is what I think, and you're wrong, They won't do that. Basically what they try to do is they try to relate to you, their viewpoint of the situation, so you can understand, see what they're seeing, and then make your own decisions upon that. You know what I'm saying? They don't like to deal with any of the personal shit. They don't like to deal with any of your own personal issues, personal thoughts on things, They're just trying to relate, their ideas and find common ground with you. And even if they are trying to relate to you to their side of the situation, it'll basically be just like, it's just weird, because even if you disagree with them, you may misconstrue agreeing with them and trying to relate to them, because basically the angle that they're taking is they're trying to come up with the most relatable line of events for a certain idea system that they can put to you on. You know what I'm saying? So this is where it gets weird, because you'll be like, damn, what's this Mercury and Libra person saying? What the fuck? I can't help but just agree with them. It's just so nice, and it just makes so much sense. This comes back to the whole sort of Saturn-Venus situation, where they know how to make structure systems and thought concepts seem so approachable that you can't help but appreciate it too. And this is where Libras can sort of if they're very earth and air dominant, this is where they can sort of end up in a manipulative situation, because they're so secure in their structure system of either how they feel or how they see a subject, and then their Mercury sign on top of that is basically making you be like, damn, I can't help but agree with them, because they're just, the way they constructed their form of thought is just so relatable no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So having this sign also puts you in a position of you feeling, I don't know why I keep saying feeling. There's no I know Venus is at home here, but there really isn't a lot of feeling to this sign. It's more of a thought-based feeling. If it's like, oh, I don't have this, then I then I think that I feel like I need this, and then your feelings will just naturally follow where your thoughts are going. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like that, to where it's like a weird type of split. I can't it's hard to describe, because with air signs it's more of your feelings come from a place of where you think they should based off of the situation. It's like, oh, okay, A, B, and C happened, and now I'm in this situation, and this is how I've seen people feel before about this situation. So it's sort of like you're taught to feel a certain way, which is kind of what happens with Mercury and Libra here, because they're influenced to think that they need to do things with people. So when they are alone and they're all by themselves, they can't help but think oh, I wish this person was coming around right now. Oh, I really think that, they'll word it as they feel that this person should be around for this, and this reason. But it's really coming from a thought-based process. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying these people are going to do the math on the time you spend with them, but what I am saying is that they will, if they miss you and they really want to be with you, they will come up in all types of thought patterns and reasons. And for, not reasons, but, practical, I guess it's reasoning, but it's not necessarily a reason, because it's just a thought that they had that they think they feel is very important. You know what I'm saying? It's a really weird dynamic with Mercury and Libra, because just that whole, air thinking quality of what you should feel just kind of gets your whole head in a clusterfuck spinning. It's just like, wait, do they really feel this way? Because they said this, and this point, and that has nothing to do with feelings whatsoever. That's just something that they thought of how a certain situation should go based off their perspective. And it's just like, what? What are you talking about, bro? Like, that's just not what's happening at all. But you have to remember, it comes from a good place in their mind, to where it's just like, why can't we hang out? I want to get this, and this done. I feel as though that I can help them, they can help me. It is what it is. But you just always got to remember that where a Mercury in Libra person is coming from may not always be from the feeling place that they necessarily, may present to you. You know what I'm saying? They may make you feel like you're in the most comfortable situation, like you can't do anything but relate to this person, because they're just really smooth with their words, and they can make all words just seem so plausible and so relatable. But you always have to remember where the facts are with these people. You know what I'm saying? Because even they can trick themselves into thinking that they believe this, which is why that sort of Venus aspect to it can come off so smoothly. Because it's got to remember, Saturn and Venus are working together here with everything that comes out of this person's mouth and how their thoughts are constructed. You know what I'm saying? It's just they have all the structure of how they feel and how they think about a certain subject to rely and use as their foundation. And then on top of that, they can just blow these mist and air, dust of all this relating possible thoughts, concepts, or ideas on a certain subject, and it'll just come off to you as just damn, I may not necessarily agree with A, B, C, or D, or basically everything they said, but you just can't help but feel relatable to them. And they'll sort of know when they got you, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm sort of going on a manipulative tangent here, but it's just even if they don't think it, it's sort of their subconscious wiring of a situation. If you sort of feel where I'm coming from. I'm not saying every Mercury and Libra person will do this, but this is just based off of their influences. These situations can pop up. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it may not always happen in these situations, but just watch a Mercury and Libra person get secluded and see what happens, and you'll feel what I'm saying. Anyways, let's roll over the basic alignments of how I came to these conclusions and how you can come to these conclusions for yourself, right? So, Mercury in Libra. Mercury is the planet of thinking and communication. That's pretty much it right there. It likes to bounce around, it likes to get its details, it likes to know its certain things, and it's through the lens of Libra. You know what I'm saying? What is Libra? Libra is born from the 7th house, which is opposite of the 1st house. So this is why it's relating to others, not personal issues, and just your general aura state of being of what's going on. It's basically the house of joint endeavors, you doing something with someone and trying to get things done. You feel what I'm saying? So, with that being the overarching influence of always trying to relate, since that's the house that Libra was born from, it is cardinal air, initiating, creating new ways of how to think and communicate on certain ideas or topics. You know what I'm saying? Which is why they're always trying to relate. They're always trying to relate new ideas to people. They're always trying to relate new concepts to people. They're always trying to relate new situations that they can get in with people. And then it falls in the sun, the planet of expression and what you consciously see from the world. It is away in Mars, the planet of action, motivation, willpower, and basically any emotion that gets you up off the couch to do something. And then it is at home in Venus, the planet of love, appreciation, values, and how one relates to others. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, it is exalted in Saturn, the planet of boundaries, restrictions, limits, as well as how one sees reality, creates structure for themselves, and also engages with the structure in their external reality. Remember that freaking Saturn and Venus situation right here. This is why Libras can be so just so comfortable, and so just make you feel comfortable at too, so you can't do anything but relate to this person, which is how they are relatable to people. They make people feel comfortable so that they can relate to them. Anyways, thanks for following the solar system series known as Up in the Air. Sorry about the, not sorry, but whatchamacallit, I'm still up in the air here. My apologies on the whole situation and setting change, but here, check it out. Up in the air. Climbing wall. Anyways, peace.